Good morning, Ma. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well.
And it's a wonderful Sunday collective as we're
A
going
little
to.
bit early.
Yes, this is the new time. I know that everyone's joining in. I see Umang, I see Alexandra, Anisha, Sharmishta, Charu, and of course our lovely Bittu auntie, and many, many
Special
more.
healing to Charu and Sushant because they're not feeling so well.
Oh, okay.
So big hugs.
Big hugs to them and everyone else that is sending all the lovely hearts and the namaskaras to Ma. And as we begin our journey today of this beautiful Sunday collective, I am so intrigued by the topic of today, which is the universal I, as in the me, the aham, the me, not the seeing I, E-Y-E.
Yeah, that's what happened yesterday, right?
Yes, I had.
You should share.
So I had made the graphic to announce the Sunday collective, and I had spelled the universal I as E-Y-E. And then, of course, we had Shivani and Ma'am telling me that actually, according to the records and what Ma'am had said, it's actually just the letter I, as in I am Divya. And so I was very giggly about it last evening and wondering that what is the difference between the seeing I and the I that is
The
me and the I that is the heart. So maybe we can begin right there, Ma.
Yeah, because it's basically today in Let's Heal, I also said that there are two portals of disease infiltrating into our body. And one of them is the center of the eyes, that it disturbs you what you see. And then the second is the ears. These are the two portals of what I see and what I hear.
Okay,
And
Ma.
interestingly enough, when the soul starts its journey from the spiritual worlds to come into the material universe, there is an essential pinpoint of energy, that is the universal I consciousness that the soul is bringing. And the first portal of expansion is the ears. So the sound of the universe, the sound of Om, the sound of creation, all these energies assist us to create the universal I self in the physical body. So we enter the womb of our mother, we construct with the 5 elements, and what do? We structure ourselves in 5 ways, where we have first the body, we create the physical body. Then we have the mental body, where we are thinking, speculating, gathering information, illumination, enlightenment. Everything happens with the eye chakras. And then come the feelings, how we feel about what people say, how do we feel about nature around us, and how do we reciprocate with our feelings towards others. And then comes our perceptions, our beliefs, and we start activating those perceptions and beliefs from our feelings and our mental activities. And then, of course, the consciousness gets activated. So it's the body, the mental body, the feeling body, the perceptions, and our beautiful consciousness that makes us universal in oneness with the whole world, and otherwise, creating some misjudgments and missed opportunities to connect with the universal I. So the point I'm making is that be centered and be very conscious of who you really are, that self-assured, self-confident, purposeful being that can actualize everything. So, get rid of your beliefs. In fact, I'm reminded of a little story. Once the devil and his best friend were going on a walk. And then from far off, they saw a human being picking up something from the road. So the friend asked the devil, what is he picking up? So he said he's picking up the truth.
Oh.
So then the friend asked the devil, aren't you scared? He said, no, it's very easy to manipulate the human mind. I'm going to help him to turn it into a belief.
Oh.
So the truths that are actual, inspirational, universal, we turn them into belief systems, and our portals of perception are misguided. Our feelings are about broken relationships and blame and even disgust and fear and destruction at some point. And then we are very sort of limiting ourselves because we are not expanding our portals of oneness with the universe. So I was thinking this morning when I was walking in the Midnight Galaxy, that what is that one example that I can give to all of you that the universal I exists, is that if we look at a tree, it's a very majestic tree. It has a trunk, it has branches, it has leaves, it has flowers, it has fruits. Yesterday we were having lunch, and the centerpiece, Divya had put some beautiful yellow flowers in the center table decoration, and it was the laburnum
amaltas,
amaltas flowers, and they were so resplendently activating our solar plexus for good health and good fortune. And it was nature giving, the tree was giving its flowers. But if you really look at the life story of the tree, it appears first as the root, and it goes down as the root, and it picks the nutrients from the soil, from Mother Earth, whether it's water, whether it's air, whether it's sunshine, whether it's earth energies and the space it creates for itself. And then it starts to grow, and it comes up with those beautiful leaves as the shoot. And then the sun starts to help that universal form, which we call the tree. But the tree can't stand unless the magnetic pole of Mother Earth is helping it to root itself.
Yes.
Then it grows, and then it, of course, the branches develop, the leaves develop, the buds, the flowers open up, and then some of those flowers turn to delicious fruits. And the story of life goes on. Every year the tree is manifesting its energies. But what is the tree? Is it really the tree? Or is it the 5 elements that we are structuring ourselves together? And if we look at our life, we also have the body.
Yes, Mom.
But what's happening inside this body is that we are breathing. And with each breath, we are taking in certain energy, which is universal, which you can't control. The day you stop breathing, then you're just a body. You're not the person that you were. You will change that body and you will move ahead. So the universal I is that you merge into that universal influence, and we are all dependent on that universal I, because the whole of creation started with just a speck of energy, and then it grew and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, and took in all the elements and regenerated this beautiful world. And we have sustained ourselves. We think we are breathing. No, there's some other universal I-ness that is helping us breathe, keeping us alive, making us love, making us confident, courageous, and humble at the same time, because nothing is in our control. So coming back to that body, that mental framework, the feelings, the perception, and finally the consciousness. What is that consciousness? That is that universal consciousness where the tree is also dependent on the 5 elements. It cannot create its body unless it is part of that universal consciousness and is taking assistance from everything else, and is letting go of its limiting beliefs. So we as people can't, if our branch, say our arm is cut off, we don't have the ability to grow another arm, but the tree does. So is it more magical than us, or maybe more connected to the universal I? So we also have to connect to this universal consciousness and dovetail our activities to be of service to people around us and within our life frame. So it can be families, and remember that you are picking up the truths. So don't let the devil turn them into limiting beliefs. Because if they're limiting beliefs, then we're already gone.
We're sunk.
We are sunk. Because we are not allowing ourselves to concentrate on what is our birthright and where are we going with this universal energy. The universal energy comes from the cosmic skies, the cosmic universes, is assisting us at every point of our life, giving us packages of gifts and delivering, not like Amazon and Myntra and all, where you're shopping and getting these packages delivered that come in brown boxes. And when you are opening them, sometimes you're very surprised with the product, and sometimes you're willing to return it back because it didn't meet your expectations. But the universal gifts that come to us are so majestic, so inviting, so beautifully implementing into our consciousness all that we are yearning for. So I always tell people, begin with your body, make itself as comfortable, as nurtured, because it is going to be the vehicle. It is a spiritual vehicle for your spiritual enlightenment to walk towards the divine consciousness, where you're universally connected to that light, and the resplendent light is always available to every one of us, because we are spiritually connected from another world, from that universal consciousness, where the I is part and parcel of the universe. So stay with the healing light, and always remember that the more you give of kindness, compassion, truthfulness, unity, you are actually dispelling all the limiting beliefs, and you're saying, I can do it. I can heal. I can be courageous. I can go out and hold someone's hand. I can, in fact, yesterday we were having a conversation with a few healers, Divya and I, and they were saying that, when there is any kind of crisis, you should remember us and we should come and we should assist. And I was smiling because I was reminded of a previous story that I used to paint rangoli on, all the floors of the abode where we lived. And then all these beautiful healers said, we also want to participate, we also want to participate. So 30 of them showed up to help me with paint brushes and colors and flowers and beautiful sawdust colored, and we were doing the rangoli, and every floor was being decorated, and it was a great, great effort. But then rolled in 10 o'clock at night, because Diwali was the next morning, and now I had 30 hungry children to feed. And I was thinking, why did I get myself into this mess? Now I'll have to start cooking. So of course we stepped out and we had a great time. Yes. But the interesting part is, sometimes when you're in a crisis, it's not a limiting belief, it's actually that instead of focusing on what needs to be done in that disaster management, you're actually looking out for the welfare of the people that you so inspired yourself to call, thinking that they're going to help.
Yes, ma'am.
But they are part of your universal I, but are they really spiritually empowered to give you the gift that you so need at that time? So
or are they there under the guise of giving to actually take something that you may or may not owe them or want to give them? Yes, ma'am.
But always go with truthfulness and the healing light, and then you won't meet such people. They'll always be helpful and not needy.
So how do we understand this behavior of neediness in ourselves, Ma? And how do we transcend that limiting belief of neediness, and to really connect to the truth that we have not only sufficient and satisfactory access to a limitless source, but association, but how to really feel strength in that?
See, the thing is, I think just yesterday somebody had a brain stroke.
Oh,
so then we were talking to the doctor. I was sending healing, and the doctor was saying that his center of ability to walk and talk and see and hear has been disturbed in the brain. So he'll have to learn everything again.
Oh.
He's like a baby.
Okay.
So the brain can shut down, but the body is still going. So what is that person going to do? He's going to be a little bit frustrated, because when he wakes up, he is going to find that he cannot communicate with the people.
Absolutely.
So it's very important to nurture yourself and to keep yourself healthy and fit, and keep giving the gifts to others, because the mental faculties need to work to function in order for us to be able to connect to that universal sense of oneness, and to be able to understand others very sublimely, perfectly, just the way you would want them to understand you. So stay away from any kind of dis-ease by just sharing the gifts that the universe has given to you and gifting them forward with the healing light, and of course with your money, with your generosity of time, your faith. And don't let any limiting beliefs set up in your heart, in your third eye chakra. I find that our senses of taste and smell and seeing and hearing are very centered just in above our neck, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And we are always speaking, we are tasting, we are smelling the fragrance of self-recognition. We are seeing the beauty of the universe, or sometimes we are not so compassionate that everything looks beautiful.
Yes.
And then, this morning in the Let's Heal, I was saying that focus on the sounds of your own thoughts and focus on the sounds of the kitchen, or maybe a car is going by. One by one, focus on one sound at a time, and then focus on all the sounds coming together. And when all the sounds will come together, it's like a very relaxing hum.
Yes, ma'am.
And that hum is the so hum. Is the so is on the in breath and hum is on the out breath. So that hum is the resonance of deep relaxation and the ability for us to access all the gifts that the divine is sending to us. So we have to be very, very purposeful. We have to be very vigilant. We have to see how we are interacting. Are we just, even without having a stroke, we're just shutting down that part of our thinking capabilities or action doing abilities? Because remember that everything starts in the material universe with the desire. And then with that desire comes some thought, some willing, some planning. And then is that moment of truth that now I have to do some action. And when you spring that action into the universal I, then the universal I is also reciprocating. So depending on what you sent out, it's going to multiply manyfold and come back to you. That's why I tell people when they're doing negative thought and limiting belief action, they need to recall and cancel.
So we are that actually a small ansh or a particle of that universal I that has in semi-detached, or we're completely detached when we come into material nature?
We are completely attached, but we have a limiting belief that we are detached.
Oh, okay. Yes,
it's like a grain of sand on the beach.
Yes, ma'am.
And the ocean is coming and some pieces of sand are going back into the ocean, and the next wave is bringing some more sand too. You pick shells. I remember when we used to go to the beach, and we used to pick all the shells, and then we used to say, wow, no more shells in this part of the beach. And we used to have bagfuls of shells that we had collected. And then a few waves would come and we would have more shells on that part of the beach. And then we would start scurrying around and picking them again and making pictures out of those, sticking those shells together. It was quite an activity. That we were searching, and the universe was just gifting us whatever we were searching for in that moment.
Yes, ma'am.
So the universe is always reciprocating.
Very fascinating.
Yes.
To go on this journey, as many in the comments, including Rekha Masi and Umang and Anahita, all in wonderment, and I joined them in that wonderment of this EYEI and the true I, the one
with the universe.
One with the universe. So the EYEI is actually the judging self and the critical self that we assume is the universal I, but it's actually the devil creating that limiting, corrupting our truth and converting it into a limiting belief.
And not connecting to the five elements.
With respect. And so we have lots and lots of love and lots of healing requests. So sending out healing to all the healing requests. And then we have Hina Rashid, who joins in, and she says, Auntie, you're looking beautiful.
I love you, but come soon for a healing.
Yes, and so she asked that why is it that when we work so hard and finally things start to align, then everything suddenly gets stuck and falls apart?
Yeah, because you have aligned yourself, but you're not willing to receive. Because with the good, there is always some pain, some heartache, some disturbance, some fear, some helplessness, some lack of clarity. So I always tell people that get rid of the perception. This is a perception that things are delayed and not going well. It's just like your good fortune is in the locker and you need the password to open that locker, or the key to open that locker. And if you persevere and you are in deep consciousness and clarity that the divine is assisting you, then you can move ahead. Yes, just the other day I was talking to somebody and they were saying that I really want to connect to my faith, but something is stopping me. So I told her that, there's a very nice book that I have access to, which is the 99 names of Allah. And she can take any of those names and she can repeat it repeatedly, and she can rebuild her connection to her faith. And so she was a little bit taken aback that, I was giving her that guidance of chanting. And then I was explaining to her that basically the universe is being created by divine thought and divine sound. So that universal sound is a symphony of guidance that is coming from your mental framework. It's the guidance of the feelings that you have in the heart. Remember that your heart is that pumping station that is distributing whatever, even if it's fear in your heart. You say, no, that there's something clutching my heart, I'm feeling some anxiety. That's also coming from your heart chakra and the green light. So I always tell people, place your hands on your heart and connect to the green light and see it spiraling. And remember one thing which is very, very, very important, that the minute that you connect to your heart, there is a very sublime universal drop of nectar coming from your crown chakra. It goes through your third eye and throat and rests very comforting energy in the heart. And if you connect to your heart, it's the most courageous chakra, the biggest chakra, giving you the biggest amount of love, and you don't need it from anyone else because you have it right within you.
Yes, ma'am.
So the bells of your heart will always ring as you fall in love with yourself. There's this lovely Hindi films that say ki dil mein ghanti, it's like the ringing of the bells is awakening you to feeling some pangs of passion and association with other twin souls or soulmates or twin flames. But the reality is that first and foremost is that twin of yours sitting in your heart and your third eye chakra. So the third eye chakra is controlling how you hear, how you see, how you smell, how you taste, and how you touch the truth. So you must touch it with great fervor, enthusiasm, self-confidence, being self-assured that the universe, there is no poverty in the universe.
Yes.
We just have to work towards what we want to actualize. So Hina should really be thankful that she has this opportunity, this ability to recognize that yes, there is a delay. So ask yourself, what have I left incomplete? Maybe it's that you're just so judging people that they are delaying. Maybe it's just you not taking appropriate action. Yesterday I was talking to somebody in my office and they were talking about buying a new house. And I was telling them, that I told you 4 years ago to buy the house, then COVID happened, and you delayed it, and now also you're delaying it. But the reality is that when we want to take action, the money will appear, the person who's helping you trade in that property, real estate person will also show up, and you will trust them, and the property will be bought. Because otherwise it's distrust or mistrust or delay. That is, you are activating yourself because you're not using your senses to fortify and to see the messages from the universe and move on. So you must move on with great grit and determination and spiritual oneness with the universe, and know that you are part and parcel of that universal I. So remember that the body is very important. It is your spiritual vehicle to reach your illumination and enlightenment spheres through reflection and contemplation, through meditation. And it all starts with listening, hearing and seeing. So you must see the truth, you must listen, you must hear, and you must create that symphony of sound to create whatever it is.
I love that, Ma. And so does Hina. She says, so well said, Auntie. I wholeheartedly am absorbing and agreeing. There is so much clarity.
Yes, and remember that the sound that you create every morning, that I'm magnificently awesome,
Yes.
then that's what you're going to become.
I love that.
So remind yourself, there's no limits. You
No
can
limits.
go full throttle.
No limits. And we have further healing requests for people who are on antibiotics, who have severe cough and cold, who are working in Dubai, for Yogesh who's in Dubai. So absorbing and healing through the universal eye, each and every healing
You're all
request.
connected with this fine network.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
delivery systems are already established by divine angels. So when you think, it's already filling up the
Filling up.
bucket on the other side.
Absolutely, Ma. And there is a lot of love and light coming in. We have Miss Vandana Vora, who I think is connecting after many years.
Oh, so sweet.
She's wishing to see you personally, so I have shared Mr. Mathur's numbers, the office numbers,
lovely.
right here. And so opening it up to everyone, yes, who is joining in live for their questions and their experiences, and for them to get more clarity on perhaps how they can connect to this universal I in their day-to-day, and what are their own limiting beliefs. So if anyone wants to ask a question about their own limiting belief, they can. And we have a joyous message of Mitali's, who says that it is Uncle's birthday today,
Oh,
her
happy
dad's. Yeah.
birthday.
So lots of love to all you girls celebrating Dad's birthday.
Yeah.
And
Big Dad.
hugs to him. Absolutely. And as everyone gathers their thoughts and types in their questions, I have a follow-up request of that Soham connection to the universal I, that unconsciously our breath is, that's what I understood, Ma, that unconsciously our breath is that thread that is tapping into the energy of the universal I and creating this life force energy by which we are participating in material nature. And so how can
We are
we...
codependent, the same
Yes,
way
ma'am.
that we're breathing in the oxygen, our body is taking the oxygen nutrition, and we are expelling on the out breath, we're giving out the carbon dioxide, right? And the plant, remember that tree that was first rooting itself, then it was sprouting, breaking ground, and coming up. That tree is also breathing.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
taking in the carbon dioxide and giving us more oxygen for us to be. So the universe is so orchestrated that everyone is helping everyone else. The sun is shining, it's giving light to our universe, it's giving its light even to the moon, and the moon is shining at night. And all food and growth in plants takes place at night in the moon's light.
Absolutely, ma'am.
And of course photosynthesis in the leaves takes place in sunlight, and that nutrition goes back into the heart of that tree. But remember that the first and foremost support for that tree is Mother Earth. Because that seed has been planted on the earth element. Then of course water, air, the sun's light, the fire, and the space are participating with Mother Earth to gift that tree their association, and that same association gives courage and confidence to the tree to keep repeating that pattern of growth and giving off its fruits, its fragrance, its flowers, and it's such a beautiful world. If you look at nature around you and nurture a tree, a plant, then you will be getting rid of your limiting beliefs, and you will be rushing there to help anyone and everyone.
And we have a follow-up question just to what you were guiding us, Ma, which is Shivani Huja, who was asking
Yes,
healing
yes.
for Yogesh. She says that, so Ma, as we are interconnected, so our purpose of life is also interconnected with our loved ones. And how do we identify this? So Shivani, I can jump in and say that our purpose of life is not just interconnected with who we think are loved ones in the here and now, it's with the whole entire world and universe. So Ma, just highlight that for us, please.
And basically when we are in a mother's womb, we are dependent on her to give us enough water, enough earth energies, the food that she eats, and give us the energy of fire and space to grow in that amniotic sac surrounded by that fluid. And our body takes that waxy substance, the vernix, to cover itself so that we can stay in that ocean for 9 months and many 9 days or more. And we are participating with those elements, and the elements are also nurturing us. And when we take birth, then we become independent breathers. So the first thing that we say so and so has taken birth means that taking the first breath. So that breath is very important to understand, that is your appearance moment in this universe, So a lot of spiritual gurus, we talk about the appearance day, which happens to be their birthday. But we all have our own individual appearance days. And we are all nurtured by the 5 elements. And that spiritual element, that spark of life, that is the universal I, connects us to all the other living beings in the universe. So whether it's, you have, somebody said, oh, they're testing me for dengue today. So I was thinking, do they have dengue? And then I was looking at the karmic records that they don't have any insect bite threat in their aura. So obviously it's not dengue.
Yes, Mom.
So it could be another virus, it could be a bacteria that's making them sick. So they have to investigate further. And then the right medicine will be found.
Yes,
and then
Mom.
the body will be healed, and the mental satisfaction, oh my God, the doctor was so good, he healed me. But the reality is that there's a tiny little healer inside your body that's always working overtime, especially when you're not feeling so well. And they're telling you how to eat, what not to eat, so that your body can be replenished with the nutrition of the universal I.
Yes, Mom.
We have more time to listen, to think, to see when we are not doing some action. And I think the universe in this day is like running on 12 hours instead of 24 hours a day. Everybody's cramming themselves, they're sleeping less, they're watching
Netflix
and prime time videos and I don't know what else. And they just keep going. And they're not reflecting on what they're listening, what they're hearing, what they're meditating, contemplating on, and what they're understanding of the information that's coming to them, and what is happening with that understanding. That are they building on their knowledge? Are they building on their wisdom? Are they being illuminated? Are they acknowledging the presence of divine will and divine grace? And are they moving towards enlightenment? And finally, it's about liberation. Liberation even from this body, because there is an attachment. My body is paining, my hand is broken, my leg is... So it's ownership. So we are always looking at distancing ourselves from that universal whole. But the reality is that we are all part and parcel of that universal I.
So, Ma, my takeaway from this is that we have to be rooted in humility.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a action we can do specifically today? Because you're giving us this guidance today. And of course, in the future, whoever's hearing it in whatever time zone, space and place, that what is it that we can do in our lives right now that is a joyous humbling of the self rather than a forceful humbling by material nature?
So the thing is that going back to that story again, right?
Yes,
that
of the
when
devil.
we bend down, we pick up the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
So in all the religious things, whether
Traditions,
you're
yes, ma'am.
praying to Allah, or you're going to Jagannath Ji's temple, or
Or
you're
the
going to a
Gurdwara,
church,
or the church.
Gurdwara, synagogue, everybody's kneeling and bending their head in humility.
Yes,
So, if you can't get to a temple, maybe you need to look at the floor in your house, clean it, and make that humbling action. Remember that when that a friend asked what was that human being picking up, and he said they're picking up the truth.
True.
So any action that helps you to bend forward helps you to decontaminate yourself, your crown chakra, and for new light to appear there that will sustain the goodness, the happiness, the courage, the self-confidence, and bring you the beauty of your own actions, that there is reciprocation from others, and there is lots and lots of goodness of that platinum light spreading to every pore and cell of your body, and torrential rain coming with those lovely gifts, and you're sublimely accepting and sharing forward.
Suma, I have a very funny image in my head, which is like I think a practical thing that I have observed in others, especially, that they have this great need to run away from house cleaning, or to, if something falls on the floor, like there's some friends of mine who'll quickly bend down and pick it up. And then there'll be others who'll ask someone
drop their
else.
Clothes when they're changing and drop it and leave it there for somebody else to pick it up, or they'll do it tomorrow. They're so lazy.
Yes, so that
perspective.
So is laziness somewhere tied to arrogance?
Yes, of course, big time, that somebody else will do it. I'm so magnificently awesome that I can't do this plebeian work. I have to let someone else
do it.
I'm giving them the honor. I remember my brother once saying, I'm giving you the honor of washing my clothes. And I said, what? I'm not going to do it from today.
Absolutely. That's a really aha. It's so clear now that even in our own lives, if we are unwilling to bend even for a household domestic chore, that we are exhibiting a sign of arrogance and laziness, and distancing ourselves away from the humble action of even our abode and our environment. That's like so wonderfully simple, actually.
Yeah, I have a grand aunt of mine
Hanji,
who's always wanting to do things herself. And the other day she was on the phone and she was telling me, I have missed taking my medicine for 4 or 5 days. So I said, what happened? So she's saying, I got my room cleaned, and from under the bed many medicine tablets came out. So she's saying I was trying to put them in my mouth and my hand was shaking, so maybe so I've advised her to eat one at a time.
And keep it on a table, Ma.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, because your hand, when you get older, if you've not done enough exercise, then the hands are going to have a little bit of a tremor. So what's going to happen? There's many a slip between the cup and the lip.
And so I think that I can hear in my heart and mind, and I'm sure it's resonating in others as well, because we've really clearly understand how to instill and recognize humility in ourselves, because that's the mission for us to join back to the universal I and to know that we're eternally connected. How do we identify and heal a situation in material nature, Ma, where there could be a distinction between humiliation and humility? So how do we protect ourselves from humiliation and not humiliate others, and be humble and loving and compassionate to ourselves and others?
So it's the same as, yesterday we were having a conversation about training nurses to give care to the elderly and the aged.
Yes, ma'am.
And then one of the highlighting sequences that stayed with me was that they were training these nurses, and the nurses said, we know everything about giving care, and at the end of the 10-day course they were all crying because they had not discovered that universal oneness from their heart, because it was shared with them that when somebody has dementia, they've asked you for a cup of tea and you are serving them that cup of tea, and they have forgotten that they've had that cup of tea. And so they're telling you that where's my cup of tea? And then you're shouting at them that Mataji or Pitaji, you just had it. But the reality is that they've forgotten that they had it. So for them, they're thinking that you're crazy.
Yes.
That you're not bringing them that new cup of tea. So it's a very humbling experience to understand that some parts of our brain may shut down as we get older.
And so what we are perceiving as humiliation is our disconnection from reality.
Yeah, we are turning everything into a limiting belief, right? We are thinking that, oh, their stomach should tell them that they've had the tea, or that some flavor in their mouth should help them recognize that I gave them the tea. And it's not about a debate, it's about understanding what the other person is saying. So maybe making them another few sips of tea would be the best way forward.
Wow. So then it's actually understanding that everyone is living in their own corrupted reality, and when everyone reaches the truth of the universal I, there is no humiliation. It's all humility, all service, all
in
love,
devotion
in
and
devotion.
Love, kindness and compassion, and you are forging ahead to serve and do things.
That is so super brilliant, Ma. Yeah.
So you have to be in service to the divine, to the universe. Water the plants, put out some seeds for the birds. Maybe you're compassionate about wanting to feed dogs, or do some donation for Food for Life. Whatever it is that you're associating yourself with, your heart is always speaking the truth, because the network in your consciousness are whispering some words of wisdom for you.
Amazing.
So that's how it works.
Love this morning of beautiful experiences of the universal I, Ma, that is in everything actually that we do and we experience. And resonating with that, we have Annie who says, "Dearest Ma, my heart is always singing with the I in me, and the bells are forever ringing, connected to the elements and the gifts of the universe. Deeply grateful to you, my Guru Ma." So sweet. So
I remember once, we were in art school, and there was this painting of 9 horses or 9 donkeys. I think it was donkeys. And then the teacher said that, that there are 9 donkeys in this picture which you have to copy and draw. But if you turn it upside down, then there'll be 10 donkeys. So I still remember Yogi Divan went to the teacher and picked the painting and turned it upside down. And he started counting, and he told the teacher that it's still 9 donkeys. So the teacher smiled and said, "And who are you?"
Oh, gosh.
So when you are not connecting to the matrix of the universe and your 9 chakras, which is the root, the kundalini, the hara, the navel, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, and you're not in symphony with those lovely spectrum of the rainbow lights, then you're already
a donkey.
misinforming yourself about the realities of the universe, and being grateful to the 5 elements, because the 5 elements are really your best friends.
Yes, Ma.
Because if you don't have good health with your water element, then you can have water retention, you can have a congestive heart failure, you can have an imbalance in your kidney chakras, because your body is fluid. And if you have too much fire element, you'll get acidity, reflux, inability to digest the food that you're eating. And then, of course, the Vayu is, of course, our breath as well. As we breathe in and breathe out, our life depends on our ability to breathe, right?
Yes, Ma'am.
And then comes earth element, the food and the nutrition and the gravitational pull that is keeping us here. Otherwise, we would float up in space somewhere.
And be spacey.
And the space
yes,
that
Ma'am.
we need.
That we need to create, actually.
Yeah. Yesterday I had somebody who had bought a new house, and they were saying that this is my bedroom, this is my workspace, this is mom's room. And I was thinking how much we plan about our future, next 6 months, 8 months, 15 months. But we don't know what else, the gifts and the packages that are coming from the universe, how we are going to unravel them.
Yes.
So we have to open with awe and wonder and courage and confidence and take action. Remember that the desire is to serve, and we have access to the grand realms for enlightenment. So finally be enlightened.
and to be gently bending and swaying with the light in
As
all
the
our
tree.
interactions as the tree. And that's really going to be my biggest takeaway, that in our homes, in our hearts, in our interactions and our thoughts, the humility is what we must nurture.
So there was an Indian saying that just come into my mind, that जो झुकता नहीं है वो टूट जाता है.
Correct.
So jhukna means to bow down in humility. They were of course referring to trees and nature.
Yeah, that if you
That
don't
there's
bend, you'll break.
Yeah.
Yes.
So bend. Do some exercises with your spine, make it as bendable, touch your toes, and then you're safe. All your 108 chakras of the spine are flexible, comforting, have the ability to nurture you and take all the nutrition from the universe and be one.
Absolutely.
And so hum, you said that so hum.
Yes,
When we
ma'am.
take a deep breath in, it's the sound of so, and when we so that is hum. This is the sound of your body. And I often challenge people that if you do this so hum breathing just as you're falling asleep, you will get up with the resonance of om in your heart.
Oh.
Or amen or ameen, whatever. The
Yes,
sound
ma'am.
will be in synchronicity with the song of your body, which is saying everything is pure bliss.
Pure
Stop
bliss.
complaining.
I love that. So I think that is a great experiment that I know everyone's going to try tonight itself. And we have 2 questions. And so I think I will take them as the last 2 questions for today's Sunday Collective session. So Annie asks that, is it wise to plan ahead if we don't know the gifts of the universe day to day? The
Yeah,
planning
it's
is the
good.
healing.
Yeah, plan ahead you must.
You must.
And like yesterday, I had somebody visiting with me, and I was asking them, so you've been very busy in the kitchen the whole morning. So she was sharing with me that how she had cooked bhindi and how she had put amchur powder in it, and she was changing the flavor of the bhindi. So I said to her, but you know, Devyana, I want you to stay for lunch. So she was very sweet. She said, oh, the bhindis decided that I'll have it for dinner.
No, so cute.
So it was very spontaneous. You know, the
Yes.
universe is always reciprocating. So I found that a very sweet response from the universe, that, you know, this is to answer Annie's thing, that if you have planned, then you can always change your plans.
Absolutely.
Depending on circumstances, your abilities, and what the universe is gifting.
Absolutely. And then we have Neha, who says, Pranam Ma at your
Love
holy
you.
lotus feet. She says, how do we sharpen our listening ability towards our heart? Because sometimes I feel the mind could be misleading.
And you have to always affirm that you feel, not that you think. So when you feel from the heart, the first symptom that you're in a good place is to have gratitude. That you'll have gratitude for everything that's happening. And if you don't have gratitude, I tell everyone that just affirm I'm grateful, just for today.
That's truly magical and puts so much of our inner thoughts, like Neha was saying, into perspective, because sometimes we may use the word that I feel dissatisfied, I feel angry, I feel like complaining or criticizing, but that's all coming from our mental aura, not from our heart aura.
Yeah.
So the true feeling is always beginning and ending with gratefulness.
Heart.
I love that. And we have Manish and Umang who are resonating with this gratitude.
So sweet. Be grateful
Be
all the
grateful.
time.
So
And if you can't be, pretend that you're grateful.
Till
Be
you get
humble,
there.
bend down.
huh.
And then
Fake
all
it till
may
you
be-
make it.
Yes.
I love that, Ma. And so to conclude, requesting that you lead us in a Soham chanting
So
before
I'll
we...
get you to sing and I'll breathe.
Okay, Ma. Soham. So hum.
So all this sound resonance should happen inside the listening
ear.
Not chanting. Supposing there's somebody else in the room and you start in the middle of the night.
Yes.
The so hum, it can be very...
So it's internal. So that's also
silent.
a little second experiment, part of the first one. To the chanting internally in your heart and your mind.
And the vibrations will make you so rejuvenated. So love you all. Stay healing. Stay well. God bless. See you next Sunday.